All right, I think we are live. Sorry for the delay, everybody. Technical difficulties, but we have made it in. Thank you all for remaining patient. I'm so excited to see all of you. If, as you guys are coming in, can you guys let me know where you're all coming in from in the chat? I always love to see where everybody's coming from. And we'll let everybody kind of start getting logged in here. I know some people were having issues with the link, so we are just messaging all of those people as well. We want to make sure everybody gets in here, gets all of the wonderful information that we have to share with you all. New York City in the house, Ohio, Nashville. Oh, I just got back from Nashville last month. I used to live there for a few years. Houston, that's where I'm at as well. Detroit, Jacksonville, Alabama, Tampa, Massachusetts, California, Chicago. Wow, all over. South Florida, Royal Palm Beach, another Florida, Washington State. I grew up in Florida, by the way, y'all. San Fran. My husband's from San Fran. St. Louis, Charlotte, Hawaii, Ohio. We got another Houston, H-Town in the house a few more times there. Huntsville, Sandy, North Carolina, Wingdale, New York. I've never heard of that one. Where exactly is that? I'm just curious. Is that upstate? Atlanta, ATL. Awesome. All right, and let me make sure our fellow people, we've got some surprise guests who are going to be coming on later for you guys too. I want to make sure that they're able to get in here, okay? All right, looks like they are starting to get in here as well. Awesome. All right, I see some more. We got Mississippi, Maryland, South Carolina, Florida, Kansas. That's a new one. We're going to try to hit every state today. Maybe can we get another country? That would be fun too. I actually just started working with someone from Ghana yesterday. I think that's the furthest out that I've gone. Starting to branch out internationally because everyone needs the help, right? Brooklyn, BK, Houston. Awesome. Yeah, keep dropping where you guys are from. We are just working in the background to make sure everything's set up on the tech side. Wingdale's 2 hours north of New York City. I figured it's like, gotta be upstate. My grandparents are from Buffalo, so I've spent a good amount of time up there towards Canada. Denver, Sheila. Is this Sheila from Ghana that I spoke with yesterday? You got Washington, another North Carolina. Okay, I don't know how to say that city. Accokeek, Maryland. That's a new one. Patterson. I'm going to guess that's Patterson, New Jersey. Powder Springs, Georgia. Awesome, awesome. We're going to take 2 more minutes, make sure everybody's getting in here, and then we'll go ahead and get started. I know we had some technical difficulties. New Orleans. Okay, that's a new one. I like seeing some new people pop up in here. All right, awesome. I am going to work on making sure y'all can see everything here on my screen. Yes, I am the one right here. I thought that was you, Sheila. It's like that was too much of a coincidence. Decatur, Georgia, Barbados. Okay, yes, we got another country. I love that. Monroe, North Carolina, Seattle. Okay, Seattle. We're hitting some new places now. Awesome, awesome. Okay, we got another Atlanta in the house. Love it. I am just making sure you get all of this going. We'll make sure that y'all can you all see my screen okay? Y'all can see my screen okay? Just drop a 1 in the chat for me so we can make sure we're all on. Katy, Texas. That's right down the street from me. Georgia. Can y'all see my screen okay? If you can see my screen, drop a 1. There we go. Okay, and now I've seen those ones drop in. Perfection. Awesome. All right. Want to make sure y'all can see and hear everything perfectly. It looks like we are good to go. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. I think everyone's excited to hear about all the things we're going to talk about today. So many good things to dive into. We're talking a lot about labs, why all of these things are showing us why we're still stuck in the areas that we don't want to be stuck in. So I'm really excited to dive into all of these things with y'all. All right. Yeah, it looks like everybody is able to see me, hear me just fine. So let's go ahead and get started. So good evening, everyone. I want to say welcome to everybody from all over and to what will maybe be the most eye-opening hour of your health journey, and I hope it will be. If you don't know who I am, I'm Dr. Stephanie Dunlop, and tonight I am going to show you something that might make you question everything your doctor has ever told you about blood work, quite honestly. But before we dive in, I do want you all to do something for me. You've been great so far engaging in the chat. If you can go ahead and type ready, if you've ever been told your labs are quote unquote normal, but you still feel terrible, go ahead, type ready right now. Let's see how many of y'all we have in the chat here. I'm presuming that's why a lot of us showed up today. Yep, there it comes. All the readies, right? Yep, just streaming on in. Sad, but true, right? So, yes, all the readies. Love it. Okay. All right, so you're in the right place. So I see those ready responses really flooding in. And here's what I want you to know. You're not crazy. You're definitely not broken, and you're definitely not imagining things, right? You might have been told that. But what you're experiencing is very real and is a very measurable cause that I'm going to reveal tonight. So really excited to share all of this with you guys. Now, just before we go any further, I do need to share this important disclaimer with you. So everything I'm sharing tonight is purely for educational purposes only. I am not here to diagnose, treat, or cure anything. What I am here to do is educate you about the possibilities that you may not have considered and encourage you to work with qualified healthcare providers. That said, what you're about to learn really has transformed the lives of hundreds of women at this point, and it might just transform yours too. And that is our hope and our goal for you this evening. So tonight, you're really going to discover why the blood work your doctor calls normal, and I put air quotes around that, because it's not really normal, but it's actually keeping us really stuck in a cycle of weight gain, exhaustion, frustration. And more importantly, what you're going to see is exactly what 75 plus biomarkers really reveal about what's happening in your body and how to fix it. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking right now. Here we go. Another doctor telling me it's all in my head, or this is probably just another diet program. I get it. I used to think the exact same thing. But let me just paint a quick picture for you maybe. So it's Tuesday morning, 6:47 a.m. We'll pick a very specific time here. Your alarm goes off, and instead of feeling rested, you feel like you've been hit by a truck, right? You drag yourself to the bathroom, you look in the mirror, and you think, when did I start looking so tired? Right? You step on the scale again, hoping for a different number, but there it is, the same weight you've been fighting for months, maybe even years. And you think to yourself, I'm doing everything right. I'm eating healthy. I'm exercising when I have the energy. I'm taking supplements. Like, what is wrong with me? If this sounds familiar, actually, can you guys type a yes in the chat? If any part of this resonated with you as part of your morning routine, I just want to see where we're at, right? Because obviously I want to know who I'm speaking to as well and how to best cater this for the people here. So if you can resonate with any piece of that, if you can type yes in the chat for me. Yep. Okay. There we have it. The yeses are streaming in. Got it, y'all. I'm right here with you. So here's what's really happening. Let's talk about it. Your body is screaming for help through symptoms like weight gain, fatigue, brain fog, mood swings, sleep issues. But when you go to the doctor, they run the same like 8 to 12 basic tests that they've been running for decades. and they tell you that everything is normal. And then they send you home with a nice little like pat on the head and maybe even a prescription for an antidepressant or an anti-anxiety medication, as sad as that sounds, right? And so, before we go anything, that went ahead too quickly. Now, the other thing that I want you guys to really just kind of take note of here is that I always say I don't like to blame the provider. I like to blame the system that we've been trained in, right? So they don't teach us in medical school, I'm going to be very clear about this, about things like nutrition, unfortunately. Like, we do get basic knowledge, but unless you go out to pursue that level, really you're just taught how to treat disease, how to look for disease, and how to treat it with a medication, right? Unfortunately, that is the truth about our current medical system. And so we're not taught to look for the early signs of dysfunction, which is what a lot of these red flags are telling us, right? So these are the things that we're going to dive into tonight. But before we go any further, I do need to know a little bit more about all of you. So there's usually two types of people kind of here watching this tonight, and which one you are will really determine everything about your results moving forward. So the first type, I like to call them researchers. I used to be one myself. We love to learn. We watch every webinar. We read every article. We join every Facebook group. We have folders full of screenshots, bookmarks, all the things. And then we're looking for the next piece of information that's going to be the answer, right? But here's the thing about when you stay stuck in that researcher phase. We never really actually do anything with what we learn. So 6 months from now, we'll still be researching, still be stuck, still be frustrated, and still just like telling myself that I just need to find the right information, right? It's kind of this paralysis by analysis, is what I like to call it. So the second type of person are really just those decisive action takers. We also love to learn, but when we find something that really makes sense, something that resonates, something that feels right, we act on it. So we understand that information without implementation is really just expensive entertainment. That's how I like to say it. So which one are you guys, right? It's okay to be either one this evening, but I do want to understand and know who I'm catering to tonight. So type researcher or type action taker in the chat right now. And really, I want you guys to be honest with yourself, all right? So let's see what we have the majority of tonight. And I'd love to see, what are we focusing on? Are we gathering information? Are we ready to take action? Are we ready to feel better? Let me know, guys. Both. Researcher, decisive, both. Okay. Researcher, action taker. Yes. Awesome. A bit, but lean more towards action taker. I like that. Lean more in that direction for sure. That is where we get change. Yes. Okay. So we got the answers kind of streaming in here. Looks like we've got a good mix of both. Okay. Preach to the choir, doc. Researcher. Action taker who has too many supplements. Okay, we're going to dive into that later, so don't worry. We'll make sure to cover all of that. All right, we got plenty of action takers here in the chat, so love that. And that honestly makes me really incredibly excited, because what I'm about to share with you is really going to change everything, but only if you're ready to act on it, right? So that's an important piece of this, because if you are an action taker, let me just really paint a picture of what's possible for you. So we talked about this prior picture, right? Now let's imagine waking up tomorrow morning, not dragging yourself out of bed, but actually waking up naturally and feeling refreshed. Imagine looking in the mirror and thinking, I look good today, instead of avoiding your reflection. And imagine having steady energy from morning until night, fitting into clothes that have been hanging in your closet for months, and feeling confident in your own skin again. I do want you guys to know that that's not a fantasy, and that's not wishful thinking. That's what happens when you finally understand what your body actually needs instead of just guessing, right? So that's what we're going to dive into today. Now, this presentation is specifically for women who are tired of being told everything is normal. When you absolutely know everything is not normal, you know something isn't right. You're here because you're ready to take action with expert support that actually understands your unique physiology. So you're the woman who might have been to multiple doctors. You might have tried multiple approaches. You spent lots of money on supplements you just saw in the chat, and programs that just haven't worked. And you're thinking there has to be a better way. And you're right, there is. That is why you're here tonight. But let me also be clear about who this is not for. This is not for women who want a quick fix or a magic pill. Unfortunately, I have not patented or created that and become a multimillionaire. So what we're talking about is this is for women who want to, well, this is also for women who don't just want to blame their genetics or their age or their circumstances for everything, right? And this definitely isn't for women who aren't ready to invest in their health. So if you're looking for just free information you can find on Google, this probably isn't going to be for you. But if you want someone to tell you that you can eat whatever you want and never exercise and still transform your body, this also is not for you. So all of those things will not really apply here. This is for women who are ready to understand their bodies at a deeper level and take action based on real data, okay? Data and science is what we thrive off of around here. So here's my goal for you tonight. I want to show you exactly what your doctor's quote unquote normal blood work is missing and how 75 plus biomarkers reveal the real story behind your symptoms. So by the end of this presentation, you're really going to understand why you've been struggling and have a clear path forward. More importantly, you're going to stop feeling like you're broken or crazy or imagining things. We're really going to have answers by the end of today. That is the goal, okay? Now, if you do stay until the end, and I mean really stay, not just keep the tab open while you do other things, you are going to discover 3 things that will change how you think about your health really forever. So first, you're going to discover the exact 5-pillar system that's helped hundreds of women I've worked with finally break through plateaus that seemed impossible to overcome. And second, excuse me, you'll understand why most approaches fail, and that's probably not what you think. And also how to avoid these common mistakes that really just keep women stuck for years. And third, you're going to have a clear next step that's really tailored to your unique situation. So no more guessing, no more trial and error, just a clear path forward. Okay, that's what we're focused on today. And for everyone who stays until the end, you're going to get 3 incredible bonuses absolutely free. So you're getting my hormone clarity checklist, my bloat busting recipe book, and my gut healing grocery guide. So these alone are worth over $200, but they're yours free just for being here tonight. But here's the thing, I can only guarantee these bonuses for people who actually stay until the end. So don't step away, don't get distracted, stay focused on what we're covering because honestly, it just might change your life, okay? Now, before we dive in, let me just tell you how to get the most from the next hour and a half we're going to have together. So first, use the chat like you have been. I'll be asking questions throughout, and I do want your answers. Your engagement really just helps everyone learn better. And second, take notes if you want, but don't get so caught up in writing everything down that you do miss the big picture. I will give you the key action steps at the end. And third, be sure to drop your questions in the Q&A as we go. I will answer every single one of those at the end. And if you absolutely must step away, just keep this tab open so you don't miss anything important. But honestly, I would recommend treating this like the important appointment that it is. You wouldn't leave in the middle of a doctor's visit, right? I hope not. But finally, at the end, I will be sharing a special opportunity for those who do want personalized guidance, really implementing what you learned today. So just stay tuned for that. All right, now that we're all settled in, allow me to just properly introduce myself and share why I'm so passionate about what I am going to teach you all tonight. So I am Dr. Stephanie Dunlop, and I'm a physician specializing in functional medicine, but more importantly, I'm a woman who understands what you're going through because I've been there myself. And today I do help women understand their bodies at a level most doctors honestly never explore. I've analyzed at this point over 2,000 comprehensive lab panels, and I've seen patterns that would probably honestly shock you. But I do want you to know that it was not always this way for me, for sure, as you can tell from the photo on the screen. So just a few years ago, I was a woman lying in bed at 2 a.m., staring at the ceiling, wondering why I felt so terrible when all my labs were normal. Right? I was a woman avoiding the full-length mirrors, wearing loose clothes to hide my body, feeling exhausted by 3 p.m. every single day. I was also the woman who went to the doctor after doctor after doctor, only to be told everything looks fine, or maybe you just need to exercise more, or my personal favorite, it's probably just stress. Well, duh, I know I'm stressed, but like, how do I fix this issue, right? Like, we're all stressed. That doesn't mean we all have those symptoms, right? And so it just became very frustrating to be failed by the same system that I was trained in, right? So something happened, though, and this turning point that really changed everything is that I did discover functional medicine and really comprehensive lab testing and how to look at labs in a totally different way than anything I was ever taught in medical school, quite honestly. And it's really, unfortunately, sad that we don't get that kind of level of knowledge and education. But For the first time, I actually saw what was really happening in my body. So not just the surface level markers my colleagues were looking at, but the deep underlying imbalances that explained everything. So within months of addressing what the comprehensive labs actually revealed, I felt like myself again. More than that, I felt better than I had in years. I lost 30 pounds in just 12 weeks, y'all. Like it's insane the way that inflammation will just float off of you when you do the right things. So this is my story, and this is why I am so passionate about sharing this with you all. And just know that experience really didn't just change my health, it changed my entire approach to medicine. I realized that most of us are really just looking at health through a keyhole when we should be looking through this big picture window. We're so segmented with all of the different specialists. And like, I literally just talked to someone today and they were like, yeah, like no one will look at my full picture. Like I go to this specialist and they look at this piece, and I go to this specialist and they look at this piece, but no one will put all of the pieces together. Right. And so that is what we do. And since then, I've helped hundreds of women really get the answers that they've been searching for. Women who were told they were quote unquote fine when they knew that they were not. Women who had given up hope of ever feeling good again as well, right? So let's also though talk about why this is important. And here's what I've discovered that it may shock you. In my practice, 73% of women who come to me with normal lab work actually have significant underlying imbalances when we do run comprehensive testing. 73%. That means if you've been told your labs are normal, but you still feel terrible, there's a 3 in 4 chance that something important was missed. That's a pretty high odds ratio there. And here's what not looking past normal lab work misses. These stats you see on the screen, 80% of women are experiencing hormonal imbalances, symptoms, that impact daily life. 70% of your immune system located in your gut is directly impacting that hormonal health. And then 60% of thyroid issues are going undiagnosed despite causing significant symptoms, especially for women. So then this stat was really honestly alarming to me, but clearly understood and felt by myself personally, right? 80% of women feel unheard or dismissed by their doctors in conventional medicine. I experienced it myself. The problem, honestly, like I was saying before, it isn't that your doctors don't care. The problem, well, sometimes that's true, but we won't go down that rabbit hole. The problem is that they're working with incomplete information, right? So they're trying to like solve a 75-piece puzzle with only 8 pieces. And then they wonder why the picture doesn't make sense. But tonight you're going to see the complete picture. And once you see it, honestly, you can't unsee it. It changes everything, right? So what we're going to really dive into are the 3 secrets that are going to change how you think about your health. These aren't just theories or concepts. These are the exact principles I use with every single client to really help them finally break through and feel like themselves again. So in the chat, y'all, it's time to engage again. Type ready if you're excited to learn these 3 secrets. So I want to see if we're ready to dive in and get into the meat and potatoes here. Where are we at? Are we still here? All right, there we go. The readies are coming in. There's always a bit of a delay on my end. Awesome. Love it, y'all. Okay, let's dive into the meat and potatoes. It sounds like you're all with me and we are ready to go. Love it. All right, so let's get into all of this. Let's start with secret number 1. We need to decode your body's hidden signals, okay? Your body is speaking to you. It's time to understand what it's saying. So what I want you to understand is that most women have been taught to ignore their body signals or to suppress them with medications. But what if I told you that every symptom you're experiencing, the fatigue, the weight gain, the digestive issues, the mood swings, what if all of these are actually your body's way of trying to tell you something important? So when you learn to decode these signals instead of suppressing them, that is when everything changes. And so here's something that's really going to shock you, or maybe not, because we kind of touched on it already. When your doctor runs comprehensive blood work, they're typically looking at 8 to 12 basic markers. That's it. Like I said, it's like trying to understand a 1,000-piece puzzle by looking at 8 pieces. Like, that does not get us to the solution. So your body is incredibly complex. It's not just about whether your thyroid hormone is in range or whether your blood sugar is normal. It's about how all these systems interact, how they influence each other, and what happens when they're out of balance. So let me show you exactly what I mean. Here's what your doctor's testing: TSH, your thyroid, glucose, cholesterol panel, basic metabolic panel, maybe B12 and vitamin D if you're lucky. That's like 8 to 12 markers total. Now, here's what I test, okay? 75 plus advanced biomarkers. We're doing a complete thyroid panel, 6 markers, including reverse T3, and a full advanced hormone panel, inflammatory markers, nutrient status, metabolic function, detox pathways, and 20 plus more additional markers that your doctor never looks at. That's 75 plus biomarkers that paint a complete picture of what's actually happening in your body. All right. So I hope you're kind of starting to see how all of this comes together. Let's talk about why your doctor's normal labs also keep you stuck. So even if we have these 8 to 12 biomarkers, there's so much that we can glean from them that we don't, because we're focused on normal ranges. So if you didn't know this, standard ranges are actually based on the statistical average of a sick population. And when I say that, it's because it's based on the average of our current population. Our normal ranges are not the same as normal ranges in, let's say, like Korea, right? They're totally different. And that's because they're based on the average of your population. And what we know about, like, especially our American population, is that at least 70% of us are chronically ill and chronically inflamed due to the standard American diet primarily, but a lot of other things, right? So when we're talking about being normal, you're normal amongst a sick population. Who wants that, right? So 73% of women with normal labs will have significant symptoms, and you can see now why that would be. So functional medicine really focuses on using optimal functional ranges. We use narrower ranges here. So you can have quote unquote normal labs and still have dysfunction. We're looking for the early signs of that. So we're going from this incomplete 8 to 12 marker picture to this full comprehensive photo. And so it's like comparing a flashlight to full-on stadium lighting, right? We're getting a full idea and picture of what's going on with you. And another reason, or well, let me kind of give you an example here as well. So what we have on the screen is TSH, right? So that's your thyroid stimulating hormone. So standard normal ranges for this are 0.5 to 5, a very wide range. Optimal functional range is only 1 to 1.5, right? That is a huge discrepancy. Do you know how many women I've seen that are outside of that optimal functional range? And then the next step is then you have to ask what's going on beneath the surface that's causing that, right? Because like I was telling you, all these things are so interconnected. And so what we're looking at is kind of really well displayed in this case study of a client that I have. Now I have changed her name for privacy purposes, but these are Jennifer's normal labs versus her real results. So Jennifer was 42. She was a mother of 2. She worked part-time as a teacher. Sound familiar to anybody? Jennifer went to her doctor because she was gaining weight despite eating healthy. She was exhausted by 2 p.m. every day, and she couldn't sleep through the night. All right. So her doctor ran the standard panel: TSH, normal; glucose, normal; cholesterol, normal. Everything looks great, Jennifer. You know, maybe you need to exercise more and eat less. Here's a referral to a nutritionist. But Jennifer knew something wasn't right. Right. So she found me and asked for comprehensive testing. And here's what we found. So her reverse T3 was sky high, a marker that shows thyroid resistance that TSH completely misses. So your TSH can be normal, but obviously we know now this 3.8 is not normal. It is not optimal, right? But that is giving us these early signs. Now, I have seen women who have completely optimal, even TSH, but their reverse T3 and other markers on their thyroid panel are out of whack. So the other thing with her is that her fasting insulin was creeping towards prediabetes, but her glucose was still normal, as you see over here, right? And her cortisol pattern was completely backwards. So it was high at night and low in the morning. It should be the opposite way to make sure that you sleep and wake up at the correct times. And she had 4 nutrient deficiencies that were really just essentially sabotaging her metabolism. Her inflammatory markers were through the roof. Every single one of these issues was invisible on her quote unquote normal blood work, but they explained everything: the weight gain, the fatigue, the sleep issues, all of it. So within 8 weeks of really addressing what the comprehensive labs revealed, she lost 22 pounds. She had energy all day long, and she was sleeping through the night for the first time in years. This is what it looks like to really take a comprehensive approach and look beneath the surface. Okay. Let me also just kind of dive a little deeper and explain something else that may blow your mind. And it's probably one of the most overlooked things that I see for women, and that's the gut hormone connection. So if you didn't know this, your gut produces more neurotransmitters than your brain. Okay. It is literally called your second brain for a reason. So when your gut is out of balance, it sends signals throughout your entire body that affect everything from your mood to your metabolism. But here's what most people don't realize is that your gut health directly impacts your hormone production and your metabolism. So when your gut is inflamed or imbalanced, it can't properly metabolize hormones. So this leads to things like estrogen dominance, which can then show up as heavy, painful periods, fibroids, weight in your midsection and your hips that you can't get rid of, bloating, water retention, all those things. It can also lead to insulin resistance and a cascade of other issues. So this is why you can eat perfectly and exercise religiously, but still struggle with weight loss. Your gut hormone connection can be broken. Okay. And so what I do want to really bring home with this is that it's something you need to understand. This is not about willpower. This is about physiology. So for too long, I just feel like women have been told that they're not losing weight because they lack willpower. They are not trying hard enough. They're not disciplined enough, XYZ, right? But what if I told you that when your hormones are out of balance, your body is literally programmed to hold on to weight? What if I told you that when your gut is inflamed, it sends signals to your brain that increase your cravings and decrease your satiety or your ability to feel full? So you haven't been failing your diet. Your diet has probably been failing you by just not addressing the underlying physiology. Okay, so hopefully that all is starting to make sense. So putting all these connections together really is what led me to develop our signature 3-step methodology that really has created sustainable transformation for so many women. So what we need to start with is step 1 is to map all of your symptoms. We need to understand the patterns and the connections. As you can see, everything is very interconnected. Step 2, we test. We don't guess. We test to confirm what your body is telling us because I don't like to guess. I'd rather just go off of tangible data. Yes. Step 3 is then we need to match the right interventions to your specific imbalances in the right order for maximum impact. Okay. So when we take this systematic approach, it ensures we're addressing your unique needs rather than applying just these generic protocols that you see all day, every day. So by following this methodology, we've really helped hundreds of women finally break through plateaus and achieve sustainable results. Okay. So we're going to come to another little case study here. And I love sharing Ashley's story because it really just perfectly illustrates what we just talked about with the gut hormone connection. So Ashley came to me after struggling for years with her weight, trying every diet that you could probably think of, right? So she had turned to a GLP-1 medication, totally fine, helped her lose some weight, but it was at a cost that she wasn't honestly prepared for. Her relationship with food became completely dysfunctional, okay? So she wasn't hungry most days. She'd eat maybe one small meal. That was it. She felt weak. She felt tired. She was frustrated, right? But what scared her the most was how much muscle she was losing. So she wanted this toned appearance, but that wasn't able to happen. She didn't have the energy to work out. She wasn't able to tone up because she's not able to eat enough protein, all of these things that were just spiraling. She had no energy. Her clothes still didn't fit the way she wanted. She didn't recognize herself in the mirror, not just physically, but also mentally. But here's the beautiful part, okay? Once we addressed the gut hormone connection and helped her understand what her body actually needed, everything really shifted. So her energy was back by week 3. She had 4 inches off her waist by week 4. Insane. And within just 4 weeks, she went from barely eating to consistently fueling herself with 3 high protein meals a day. And that was somehow even with her packed schedule as a mom, running her own business, working full-time in corporate on top of that. And she actually told me it felt doable, actually a little enjoyable. So the changes weren't just physical, right? She was able to stop obsessing over food for the first time in years. She wasn't just surviving, she was actually thriving. So this is the power of understanding and working with your gut hormone connection instead of against it, okay? So let's take a quick summary of secret number 1, okay, before we dive into the next one. So your body is constantly communicating with you through symptoms. Most of us have been taught to suppress these signals instead of decoding them and really looking underneath the surface with comprehensive biomarker analysis, symptom mapping, and then creating a plan based on your unique physiology. The gut hormone connection is honestly the foundation of a lot of things, if not everything. And so when your gut is healthy, your hormones can function properly and sustainable weight loss really becomes possible. So this isn't about willpower, it's about physiology. When you address the underlying imbalances, the results follow naturally. And our 3-step methodology, map, test, match, ensures that we're addressing your unique situation, not applying generic protocols. So are you guys starting to see why everything you've tried before maybe hasn't worked long-term? Because you weren't addressing the root cause of the issues here. If you can resonate with that and you understand fully, secret number 1, drop a 1 in the chat for me. I want to make sure we're all tracking along. How we doing? How we doing? Drop a 1. There's always a delay. Oh my. Okay. I'm like, I know you guys are coming. All right. There goes all the ones coming in. Okay. All right. So we're good. All right. This is unbelievable. Yes, I know. When I first heard all of this for the first time, it was unbelievable to me as well. Amazing, y'all. Okay, great. All right. Let's dive in to our next topic. So secret number 2. So this is the 5-system reset protocol. So this is why addressing one thing at a time will keep you stuck. So here's what most people do when they're trying to improve their health. So they focus on one thing. I need to fix my gut. I need to balance my hormones. I need to lose weight. But here's the problem with that approach. Everything in your body is connected, like we just spoke about. So in my practice, I focus on what I call the 5 pillars of health. So these are the 5 very interconnected systems that control how you feel, how you look, and how much energy you have. So pillar 1 that I always like to talk about, gut health. It's your second brain, the foundation of almost everything. Pillar 2, insulin resistance, your body's ability to use energy efficiently. Pillar 3 is cortisol, your stress response, your recovery system. Pillar 4, thyroid, your metabolic control center. And pillar 5 is your sex hormones, your vitality and your mood regulators. Now, here's what's really crucial to understand is that these aren't separate systems. They're all talking to each other constantly. When one gets out of balance, it affects all of the others. Okay, so let's dive into what that really looks like. And the secret that most practitioners miss is that there is a specific order to address these systems for maximum results. So I call it the priority of dysfunction, and it's based on which system has the most influence over the others. And it's really important to identify this. Most people start with the wrong pillar and then wonder why they're not getting results. It's literally like trying to build a house starting with the roof instead of the foundation. So you see why that would not work, all right? So there's 5 key systems in your body that when they are working in harmony, they create the foundation for this sustainable health and sustainable weight loss like we're talking about. But like I said, one system out of balance causes a cascade of effect in all of the others. And we've kind of talked about all of these at this point. We're going to dive into each individually, but they're really like a symphony in an orchestra. When one instrument is out of tune, the entire performance is going to suffer, right? So let's dive into the first one, gut health, okay? We're going to walk through each of these. So this is your foundation for everything else, basically. We're going to say that. Your gut is honestly home to trillions of bacteria. They affect everything from your immune system to your mood to your metabolism. And when your gut microbiome is out of balance, what we call gut dysbiosis, it affects things like nutrient absorption. It creates inflammation throughout your body. It impacts your hormone metabolism. This is why you can take all the supplements in the world, but if your gut can't absorb them properly, you will not see results, right? That's one of the first things we assess for with our clients. Do you have enough stomach acid to break down protein, to absorb nutrients? Do you have leaky gut that's just allowing everything else to leak out, right? Like we have malabsorption issues. If we don't fix that, how can we fix anything else, right? This is honestly why you can eat a perfect diet, but if your gut is inflamed, you'll still struggle with weight loss. Your gut truly is honestly the foundation for everything else. Let's dive into next pillar 2, which is insulin resistance. I like to call it the hidden fat loss blocker. So insulin resistance is honestly one of the most common yet underdiagnosed conditions affecting women today. It develops very gradually, often over years, as your cells become less sensitive to insulin signals. And unfortunately, we continue to only check things like glucose and hemoglobin A1C instead of a fasting insulin that tells you almost like light years ahead of time that you're already headed in that direction. So here's why this matters for weight loss, though. When you're insulin resistant, your body is literally programmed to store fat, especially around your midsection. So no amount of calorie restriction or exercise will overcome this metabolic dysfunction. And here's the connection to gut health, right? So An imbalanced gut microbiome can actually contribute to insulin resistance through chronic inflammation and the production of toxins that are going to interfere with your insulin signaling. So this is why addressing gut health often improves insulin sensitivity, and why addressing insulin resistance often improves gut health. They are intimately connected, okay? So again, we're starting to see how all of these systems work together. Next, let's talk about the one that always gets a bad rap, cortisol, right? This is your stress response system. So cortisol is your primary stress hormone. And in our modern world, most women are dealing with chronic cortisol elevation. Let's be real. This isn't just from obvious stressors like work or relationships. It's also from hidden stressors like gut inflammation, blood sugar imbalances, and even over-exercising. So chronic cortisol elevation is going to affect all your other systems. It disrupts your gut health by altering your gut microbiome. It will also cause leaky gut. It contributes to insulin resistance. It will interfere with your thyroid function because they have the same precursors to make these hormones, right? So if you're trying to make a bunch of cortisol and you're stealing all your precursors to make cortisol, you don't have enough to make all these other hormones, right? So it's going to disrupt sex hormone production and your thyroid function as well. So this is why stress management isn't just about feeling better. It's a crucial component of any successful transformation plan. And this is why that stubborn belly fat won't budge until you address cortisol dysfunction. All right. Let's move on to pillar 4, thyroid. All right. So this is your metabolic control center, quite honestly. Your thyroid is like the gas pedal for your metabolism. When it's functioning optimally, you have energy. Your body temperature is regulated. And weight management is usually relatively easy. But here's what most doctors miss. Normal lab ranges for thyroid function, again, are based on statistical averages, not optimal function. You can have normal thyroid labs and still have subclinical hypothyroidism that's affecting your energy, your weight, and your overall well-being. And again, here's the connection to gut health. I told you it's the foundation of everything. Your gut is where about 20% of your thyroid hormone conversion happens. You have to convert inactive thyroid hormone to active thyroid hormone. So if your gut is inflamed or imbalanced, it can't properly convert that inactive T4 to active T3, leading to symptoms of hypothyroidism even when your labs look normal. No, mind-blowing, right? So that brings us to pillar number 5, which is sex hormones. And this is honestly at the top of our priority of dysfunction pyramid. So we have to have these balance for ultimate vitality, but it's something that's everything else so much affects that we can't even get to these things until we address these other areas first. So estrogen, progesterone, testosterone, they all play very crucial roles, especially in women's health. And they affect everything from mood, energy, body composition, libido. And estrogen dominance, which is something I see very often, is having too much estrogen relative to progesterone. It's incredibly common. It causes weight gain, mood swings, increased PMS symptoms. And progesterone actually has very calming effects. It can help with sleep, stress management. So when progesterone is low, you might feel anxious. You might have trouble sleeping, and you might struggle with things like stress eating. And yes, women need testosterone too, not just men. It is actually very crucial for muscle mass, energy, and motivation. And so low testosterone can make it nearly impossible to build or maintain muscle no matter how much you exercise. So the key here is balance, and that balance is affected by all the other systems that we've discussed at this point, okay? So those are our 5 pillars. So let's talk about how these are also interconnected. And this is what's crucial to understand. Disruption in one affects all of the others. It creates this cascade of symptoms that seem unrelated, but they're actually very deeply connected. So I'm going to give you guys a little example here as well. So Sarah actually came to me wanting to lose weight. So she tried every diet, every exercise program, nothing worked. Her doctor said her thyroid was normal, couldn't be that. But when we ran comprehensive testing, we found her gut was inflamed, which was triggering cortisol release, which was then in turn blocking her thyroid function, which was affecting her ability to burn fat. Everything was connected, right? So once we addressed her gut first, her priority pillar, everything else started falling into place. She lost 18 pounds in 8 weeks without changing her diet dramatically. Now, this can be a vicious cycle that will keep you stuck no matter how hard you try with diet and exercise alone, right? And we've all, a lot of us here, if not all of us, have experienced that. But when you address these systems systematically in the right order for your body, you create a positive cascade effect that really amplifies your results. And so we're going to talk about one more case study here, which is Stephanie. Okay. So her story, I feel like, really perfectly demonstrates the power of the methodology that we use. So she was a physical therapist in the Army. So she knew how to train, she knew how to eat, or at least she thought she did, right? And for years, she was doing everything right. Training 5 to 6 times a week, eating clean, staying consistent. But despite all of that, the scale just honestly kept going up and up and up. She even failed the physical fitness measurements portion of her Army fitness test, which of course is like devastating for someone whose career depends on physical fitness, right? And this is honestly exactly why we don't guess, we test. When we ran our labs, we found early signs of subclinical hypothyroidism and autoimmune dysfunction that weren't showing up on standard military medical screenings. And so by applying our methodology, really mapping her symptoms, testing to confirm the root causes, and then matching the right levers, like we talked about, she saw really incredible results. She lost 10 pounds in 8 weeks. Her thyroid issue was able to be addressed. But here's the most incredible part. By week 12, she had hit her goal weight. Okay. And now she's got a whole new goal weight when I talked to her this week, right? Like she's just continuing to lose weight. She's like, oh, I didn't realize I could go further than that. Like, let's see how far I can go and still feel great. And I'm like, wonderful. Let's just see what your body's giving us. And this is like after just failing months before her Army fitness test, she literally PR'd every single segment of her Army fitness test. Like crazy. So she came back stronger, faster, leaner, that's for sure. And this is what happens when you really just stop guessing and you work with precision. So her success demonstrates that even when you're doing everything right, there might be these hidden imbalances that just need to be addressed systematically. So let's summarize secret number 2. I know it's a lot of information. So all 5 systems, gut health, insulin resistance, cortisol, thyroid, sex hormones, they're all interconnected. Disruption in one is going to affect all of the others, creating this cascade of symptoms. Remember your priority of dysfunction. It determines which system to address first for maximum impact and sustainable results. This is honestly why generic protocols fail. They don't account for your unique situation. Addressing systems in the right order creates a positive cascade effect that really just amplifies your transformation. So instead of fighting against your body, why don't we try working with it? Right? This is a systematic approach that allowed women like Stephanie to finally break through plateaus that seemed impossible at that point to overcome. So the key takeaway from secret number 2, your body is not a separate or a collection of separate parts. It's an integrated system where everything affects everything else, and you can't just fix one thing and expect everything else to magically work. You need a systematic approach that addresses the root cause and the interconnections. Okay. So before we move on to the next one here, I want to make sure that we're all on the same page still. So how are we feeling about secret number 2? If your mind was blown and you learned something new, drop a 2 in the chat. Let's see it. Wait, over exercising. Yeah, I know. It's crazy. It's crazy. Half the time we have to tell women to stop, pull back on the exercise. It's insane. They're like, oh, I can exercise less and lose weight. Like, what is that? All right. We're seeing all those 2s drop in the chat. Amazing, amazing, amazing. Okay. Love it. All right. So we're all learning something new. We're all enjoying this. That's awesome. I'm so glad. All right. Let's move on to secret number 3. Who's ready for that? Just gets better from here. All right. Your personalized transformation roadmap. This is where it gets fun. This is honestly why generic plans fail, custom protocols succeed. And here's the truth that really the health industry probably doesn't want you to know. There is no one-size-fits-all solution. What works for your friend, your sister, your coworker, it might not work for you. And that is not your fault. It's just biology. Okay? So let's move past that and let's talk about why everything I do starts with a comprehensive assessment. So not just asking, how do you feel, but diving deep into your biochemistry, your genetics, your lifestyle, your history, everything that makes you uniquely you. It's like having a GPS for your health. It's awesome. You can't get where you want to go if you don't know where you're starting from. So the process all starts with what I call my comprehensive health blueprint. And honestly, this is not your typical health questionnaire that asks you to rate your energy from 1 to 10. This is an in-depth assessment that maps your symptoms across all body systems. It analyzes your detailed health history, and it evaluates your current lifestyle and nutrition patterns. And what we're looking for are patterns and connections that most practitioners miss. We're identifying your unique priority of dysfunction. Where do we need to begin? We're understanding not just what's happening in your body, but why it's happening. It's important to ask that question. This blueprint really becomes a foundation for everything we do moving forward. And I want to go back to the why, right? I think too many times, like, let's say your iron's low. They're like, okay, take an iron supplement. Why is your iron low? Why are we not asking that question? You could have malabsorption issues in your gut. You could also be having significant issues with your liver that's causing you to not be able to store iron. So there's all of these different factors and things that we need to be taking into account. And a lot of times we just don't, unfortunately. So let's talk about after the comprehensive health blueprint. Once we understand your unique physiology, then we can create a protocol that's designed specifically for your body. And this is what's important. You don't need a generic plan that might work. You need a custom roadmap that will work because it's based on your specific needs. So this is why some women see results in weeks while others struggle for years. Remember, it is not about willpower or motivation. It's about having the right plan for your specific body. So this is not a generic meal plan or workout routine. This is a completely customized roadmap that addresses your specific imbalances in the right order for your body. So your nutrition plan includes macro breakdowns, functional foods specifically chosen to support your priority systems. Your workout program is designed to support your hormonal health, not work against it. And your supplement strategy is targeted to fill your specific gaps. So not just random supplements that everyone else is taking. And everything is customized to your unique physiology and lifestyle because, again, what works for your friend or your sister might not work for you. Okay, it's important to understand. And here's what makes this approach really so powerful is that everything you need for your transformation is customized to your needs. So this is not a one-size-fits-all program where everyone's going to get the same meal plan or workout routine. Every element is customized based on your comprehensive assessment to ensure maximum results in minimum time. Because when you're working with your body's really unique needs instead of against them, transformation no longer has to be a struggle. Okay, I want you to realize that it does not have to be this constant battle. It becomes a natural process. That's what we're working towards here. And a case study that really highlights this is Donica. And so this is a good example of the resilience and the progress that's possible, even when you face challenges. So she had a really significant back injury right before we started working together. And she was able to show that healing is possible, even when life throws you a bunch of curveballs. So this is about working with your body and adapting. And her journey also reminds us that progress is not always linear, right? But with the right support and understanding of your body, you can continue to move forward. And this is really, truly the beauty of a customized plan. We've had people with broken legs still lose weight. We've had people who can only do chair workouts like Donica. We've had people who need to, do baby wearing workouts, like whatever. This all has to work with you and your lifestyle. And that's the beauty of a customized plan, is that it has to work for you, right? So I think that's an important point to really drive home here. And again, that brings us really to the summary of your personalized transformation roadmap. Generic protocols fail because they don't account for things like your unique biology, your lifestyle, and your circumstances. And what works for someone else might not work for you. And so a comprehensive health blueprint identifies your specific patterns, your imbalances, and your priority of dysfunction, and creates that foundation for your personalized approach. So your complete personalized protocol is going to address your specific needs with customized nutrition, customized exercise, supplement strategies that work with your body, not against it. So when everything is tailored to your unique situation, that's when transformation becomes inevitable, quite honestly, instead of just being hopeful about it all the time. Okay. So let's recap our 3 game-changing secrets here. Okay. So we've got secret number 1, decode your body signals. Your body is sending you signals through symptoms, but standard lab work only shows you 8 to 12 pieces of a 75-piece puzzle. Okay. You need comprehensive testing to see what's really happening. Secret number 2, everything in your body is connected. You can't fix one system in isolation. You need a systematic approach that addresses the priority dysfunction first. And then secret number 3 is generic plans fail because your body is unique. You need a personalized protocol that's based on your specific biochemistry and physiology. So now the question becomes, what are you going to do with this information? Right? Okay, so let's talk about that. But first, let's talk about what Jerica was able to do once she received this exact type of information. This is honestly a fantastic example of addressing a very common and frustrating symptom, which is bloating for so many women, right? So Jerica was tired of the discomfort, the unpredictability of chronic bloating. She never knew, honestly, when it was going to hit, and it was affecting her confidence, her daily routine, just about everything. When we implemented a targeted approach based on her specific imbalances, she experienced rapid relief. As you can see here, this is in 4 weeks that her routine, her confidence was able to be locked in, the bloating was gone, okay? This highlights that when you get to the root of the issue, not only do physical symptoms improve, but there's a really profound impact on things like your daily routine and your overall confidence. So it's about feeling good in your own skin again. And that's what's possible when you do have the right approach. All right, so where are we at, guys? If you are still with me, if you're still learning new things, can we drop a 3 in the chat? Because we made it through all 3, and we're going to talk about what's next. What do we do with this information? Drop a 3 in the chat if you're still with me. I'm waiting for the delay to pass. I know y'all are dropping them in. There we go. There we go. All right. They're pouring in. Okay. So you guys are still with me. So we want to know what comes next, right? So let's talk about it. But first, I do want to ask you a question. Before we go any further, let me ask you something. How many of you are sitting there right now thinking, this makes so much sense? Why hasn't anyone explained this to me before? If you feel that way, please type a yes in the chat if you're having that moment right now, because that was me the first time I heard all of this. What about y'all? Type a yes in the chat if you're having that moment with everybody else. Yes. Awesome. All right. It just makes so much sense. All right. So I see those yes responses, and honestly, I'm not surprised. What I just shared with you is honestly the foundation of everything I do in my practice. But here's the thing. Knowing this information and implementing it are 2 very different things, right? So let me ask you another question. If you could have a clear, personalized plan to rebalance your hormones, heal your gut, and finally lose fat sustainably, and if you could really stop guessing and start knowing exactly what your body needs, would that be worth 30 days of focused effort, 60 days, even 90 days of focused effort? Would that be worth it for you? I mean, really think about it. How long have you been struggling with this? How much time, energy, and money have you already invested in trying to figure this out? And what would it be worth to finally have answers? That's what I want you guys to start thinking about. And I know we spoke about this at the beginning, but here's what I've learned after doing a lot of these presentations and talking to hundreds of clients at this point. There are 2 types of people that I speak with. The first type are the information gatherers. We talked about them. We love to learn. We take notes. We screenshot our slides. We bookmark the video. But then we go back to our regular routine. Or maybe we try a few things on our own, but 6 months from now, we're usually still in the same place. We're looking for the next piece of information. The second type, the action takers. A lot of y'all told me you were those in the chat earlier. We also love to learn, but when we find something that resonates and something that makes sense, we act on it. We understand that information without implementation is literally just expensive entertainment. Okay. So now I want to ask you again, which one are you now that you have all of this information? And I want you to be really honest with yourself. And if you feel like dropping it in the chat, you can, but you don't have to. I just want you to start to reflect on that, because from here, you really do have 2 paths. Path 1, figure it out alone. Totally fine. Take what you've learned tonight, try to implement it yourself. I would love for you to do that. Guess about which supplements to take, try to interpret your own lab work, hope that you're addressing things in the right order, and maybe get some results, maybe not. But there's also path 2, where you can work together with someone like myself who's done this hundreds of times. Get comprehensive testing that reveals exactly what's happening in your body, and receive a personalized protocol based on your specific results. Have expert guidance every step of the way. Both paths are very valid, but only one gives you certainty. Okay. So this brings me to something that I'm really excited to share with all of you. And it's honestly the first time that I've really made this open to the public. So yeah, let's talk about it. For the first time ever, it is my complete metabolic diagnostic blueprint. And this is the first time, like I said, I've made this available outside of my one-on-one private practice and my inner circle. And this is honestly the same comprehensive analysis I charged $3,200 plus for with my one-on-one clients. And it's called the Comprehensive Metabolic Diagnostic Blueprint, as I mentioned to you, and it's going to give you something you've never had before, which is complete clarity about what's happening in your body and exactly how to fix it. Okay, so let's talk about it. Here is what this will do for you. First, you're going to get a personalized plan that's tailored to your unique physiology. So no more guessing about what your body needs, no more trial and error with generic protocols. And second, you're going to receive expert guidance. You're going to get support. You're going to get accountability. You won't be doing this alone. And you'll have my team and myself supporting you every step of the way. And third, you'll be following a proven system based on the same methodology that's helped hundreds of women achieve sustainable transformation. So this is not experimental. This is proven. When you combine all of these three elements together, personalized approach, expert guidance, proven system, again, transformation becomes inevitable at that point. And I'm including literally everything that you need to start creating your transformation today. Like I said, I've never really offered this level of everything to the public before. I've never offered it like this ever, but I'm really excited to bring it to you guys. And so let's talk about what you're going to get. First, the advanced 75 plus biomarker analysis. This is worth $3,200, maybe a little bit more. We're going to test everything. And I do mean everything. Your complete thyroid panel. That includes the reverse T3 that most doctors never check. Your full hormone panel, your inflammatory markers, your nutrient status, your metabolic function, your detox pathways. 75 plus biomarkers that paint a complete picture of your health. This is the same comprehensive panel I run for my $4,900 private clients. You're getting the exact same testing, okay? Second, you're getting my expert analysis and personalized report. This is worth at least $1,500. I personally spend 2 to 3 hours analyzing your specific results. Not a computer algorithm, not a junior practitioner, me. I review every single marker. I look for patterns and connections, and I create a comprehensive 30 plus page report that explains exactly what's happening in your body and why. So you'll really understand not just what's wrong, but how everything connects and then what to do about it. That brings us to the next thing that you're getting, a complete custom protocol. This is worth $2,200, y'all. Based on your specific lab results, I will create a personalized plan that includes your exact supplement protocol, what to take, how much, when to take it, your custom nutrition strategy designed for your metabolic profile, and your targeted fitness plan that works with your body, not against it. This is not generic. This is not one size fits all. This is created specifically for your body based on your results, okay? What else are you getting? Halfway through your time with us, you're going to get a group call with myself. So this is where you're going to get personalized optimization guidance directly from me to accelerate your results. This is a live Q&A session where we can troubleshoot a lot of common challenges. You can get advanced strategies for your specific situation and really just ensure that you're maximizing your transformation. This is your opportunity to really get direct access to me and my expertise, which doesn't happen very often outside of my one-on-one program. And the last thing you're going to get is a plan review call here. And so at the end of your first 30 days, we ensure that you have a clear roadmap to really continue your progress. So this includes a comprehensive results assessment, the next steps planning, and options for ongoing support. Because transformation, we all know, does not end after 30 days. This is what we do to make sure we set you up for long-term success, because the statistic is 94% of people who don't have a maintenance plan will reverse all of that progress within 1 to 5 years after making big changes like that. So what is important to me is this. I want to make sure that you can sustain this long term. There's no point in doing any of this if we can't sustain it, right? And what I want to talk to you about really quickly is Judy's incredible story, because it shows the power of sustainable transformation and that it can happen at any stage of life, quite honestly. She was a stay-at-home grandma. She achieved incredible results, okay? She dropped 30 pounds in 12 weeks. And this isn't just about a number on the scale, though, right? It's about reclaiming energy, vitality, the ability to fully engage with life again. And she had the busy schedule of a grandma to twin boys, y'all. And when I just spoke with Judy recently, she's now over 50 pounds lost, right? Her transformation honestly continues to inspire me every day. And her success is really just a powerful reminder that if we have the right guidance, real results are achievable for real women at any stage of life. By the way, I forgot to mention she reversed all of her insulin resistance. She's no longer a diabetic. Amazing. So let's add all of this up. 75 plus biomarker analysis worth $3,200. Expert analysis and report worth $1,500. Complete custom protocol, $2,200 value. The midway group call with myself, $197. Your plan review call worth $297. That's $7,394 of value that I'm giving y'all. Okay. But that's not all you're getting. Okay. Because when you get started today, I want you to make sure that you have everything, and I do mean everything you need for success. So I am including 5. It was 3. I upped it to 5, and my team keeps telling me I'm crazy to keep adding on to this offer, but I want to give y'all everything. So I'm including 5 incredible bonuses that will accelerate your results even further. So let's talk about those. Bonus number 1 is your 5-pillar quick start guide. We talked about the 5 pillars. This comprehensive guide will help you jumpstart your transformation. It will show you exactly how to address each of the 5 pillars in the right order, so there's no more confusion about where to start. This guide will give you the roadmap to begin optimizing all 5 systems immediately. Bonus 2, you're getting our functional foods library. This is a $197 value. This is our complete database of functional foods, organized by their specific benefits for things like gut health, hormone balance, fat loss. This is not just a list of healthy foods. This is a whole targeted library showing you exactly which foods support which systems so you can make strategic choices that are going to accelerate your results. Okay. Bonus 3, you're getting access to our private community. It's called the Clarity Circle. It is our functional health membership. We charge $97 a month to be part of that membership. This is our private community of women who are on the same journey with direct access to myself and my team for questions and support. This community support is honestly invaluable. You're going to be surrounded by women who understand exactly what you're going through. You're not alone in this journey. And they're also committed to the same transformation you are. That can really be a game changer for a ton of people. Bonus number 4, you're getting my root cause lab clarity bundle, $497 worth here. So this is your step-by-step guide to functional lab testing with purpose, okay? So if you've ever felt confused, overwhelmed, or unsure about which labs to order, what they mean, when you get the results, you're not alone, right? A lot of us don't understand that if you don't have medical training. So this bundle will walk you through every stage from choosing the right labs to spotting patterns and knowing exactly what to do next. And this is important because, yes, we are giving you everything you need to start, but then continuing on, yes, there's options for ongoing support, and we're happy to be there for you. But I also want to make sure that you have the strategies, the tools to do this long-term on your own as well. Again, maintenance plan is everything here. This is about sustainability. Now, the last bonus that I'm throwing in is you're getting 30 days of priority access via email and private Slack chat to ask any questions you need and get the support you need on your journey. This is honestly normally reserved for just my one-on-one clients, and I'm giving it to you guys. Yeah. So my team is like, you're insane. But I want everyone to succeed here. And that's what's most important to me. I don't deserve your money, your time, your effort if I'm not getting you results. And so I need to make sure that you have everything you need to have grand slam, home run type of results here. Okay. So now let's add up everything we're getting, right? So we've got the comprehensive health blueprint and questionnaire. We've got your personalized action plan. We've got your midway group call, your plan review call. We've got your 5-pillar quick start guide, your functional foods library, your Clarity Circle community access, your root cause lab clarity bundle, and your 30 days of priority Slack and email access, a total value of $8,679 in total. But because I want to make this accessible to women who need answers, you're not going to pay that for sure. You're not even going to pay half of that. So don't worry if you're getting nervous here. But I do want to ask you something before we get to all that. If you could finally understand why your body has been struggling, if you could have a clear, personalized roadmap to fix it, if you could stop guessing and really start getting results, what would that be worth to you? How much would you pay to finally feel like yourself again, to have energy all day, to fit in your clothes the way you want to sleep through the night? Oh, sleep, such a wonderful thing. Yes, to not dread looking in the mirror. Most women tell me they pay anything for that feeling, anything to stop the frustration and the confusion. And I'm right there with you because I've been there and I know what it feels like. And there's probably 3 common worries that I've heard that are probably coming up. You know, some of you are probably thinking, Dr. Stephanie, I've tried everything. I've done keto, paleo, intermittent fasting, every supplement under the sun. Nothing works for me. Here's the thing. You haven't tried everything. You've tried everything generic. You've never had a plan based on what your specific body needs because you've never had the data to create that plan. It's like trying to fix a car without looking under the hood. And you might also be saying, this sounds too expensive for me. I know some of you are thinking about cost right now. This probably costs thousands of dollars. But let me ask you something. How much have you spent in the last year on supplements that didn't work? On programs that didn't fit your body? On doctor visits that led nowhere? Probably more than you want to admit, right? We're all in the same boat. It's okay for us to be honest with each other. And what if I told you that getting the answers you've been searching for, the real measurable scientific answers, cost less than most people spend on coffee or eating out for 6 months? Yeah, that's what I'm talking about here. The third thing that I hear a lot is, my doctor says I'm fine. Some of you are thinking that, but my doctor says I'm healthy. My labs are normal. Here's what I want you to understand. We've talked about it. Normal on standard labs does not mean optimal. It does not even mean healthy. It just means you're not dying right now. And I can say that because I am a board certified ER physician. Okay. That is what we're looking for. Are you dying right now or not? If not, bye-bye. Yes, that's just unfortunately how conventional medicine works. And the reference ranges your doctor uses are based on sick populations. If 95% of people have suboptimal thyroid function, then suboptimal becomes normal. That is not the standard I want for you. That's not why you showed up here today. All right. So I do have to be honest with you as well and let you know that when I was creating this program, I did have 2 choices. The first option, I can offer my complete functional fat loss RX program. It is a significant one-on-one investment, time, resources, money. And the second option was to create a more accessible version that delivers the same core methodology at the fraction of the cost. I chose to create this option that makes this transformation accessible to more women who need it because I truly believe that every woman deserves to feel amazing in her body regardless of her budget. Okay. So the question becomes just how much, right? What is a personalized reset plan like this worth to you? How much would you pay to finally understand your body and to have a clear path forward and to feel like yourself again? How much would you pay to have a personalized transformation plan that actually works with your unique physiology instead of against it? If all you did was just lose those stubborn 10 to 15 pounds, wouldn't it make sense to just invest one time to get a personalized plan that's based on your unique physiology? And then after that, you have the blueprint for life, right? That is the end all be all. That is the game plan. All right. So my signature programs, they cost $5,000 plus. This comprehensive analysis that I'm giving you, the 75 plus biomarkers, cost $3,200. You add in the personalized protocol development, that brings way over $5,000. That's what women pay me every single day for this level of insight and personalization. But I didn't create this blueprint for women who can afford $5,000. I created it for women like Jennifer, like Sarah, like Judy, like you, women who deserve answers but just haven't been able to get them. Okay. So your investment for the complete metabolic diagnostic blueprint, all $8,679 worth of value is just $1,497. That's less than $50 per biomarker tested. It's less than most people spend on supplements that don't work in 6 months. It's less than 12 months of a gym membership you're probably not using. But more importantly, it's the last money you'll have to spend wondering what's wrong with your body. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and drop this in the chat for everybody to take advantage of. All right. If you have any questions, feel free to start to drop those in the chat as well. Don't forget to drop those in the Q&A. Remember, I'm going to be covering all of that. All right, awesome, y'all. So that is what I'm trying to offer to you guys. It's just an answer. It's just a roadmap forward. But what I do want to talk about before we move on is I do need to let you know something important. Due to the personalized nature of the program and the time required for my analysis, I spend like 2 to 4 hours on every single person. So I can only accept 25 new clients this month, and that's it. So once we do have 25 spots filled, the next available opening won't be for a good little while here, okay? At least until next month. And honestly, I don't know if I'll ever offer the blueprint again at this price, just because the demand has really been incredible. And I may need to raise the investment just to manage my workload, quite honestly. My team actually recommended that I raise the price before this webinar due to how much work it does take me. But I wanted to be able to offer this really to y'all at this price point so that you can take advantage this evening and we can really help as many women as possible get some answers and see some tangible progress, okay? And one thing that I do want to promise to you, though, is I know some of you are thinking right now, let me just address the elephant in the room. So there's 3 most common concerns that I'm hearing additionally. I need more time to think about this. I get it. This feels like a big decision, but here's what I want you to consider. How long have you been thinking about your health? How long have you been frustrated with your body? And how long have you been searching for answers? The time for thinking is over. It's time for knowing. That's what we want to know, is the answers. Second, you're probably saying, again, I've tried things before, they didn't work. Generic approaches don't work. We've covered that. You've never had a plan based on 75 plus biomarkers specific to you. You've never had this level of personalization. And the third is, what if this doesn't work for me? Here's what I want you to understand. This is not about willpower or motivation or following some generic protocol. This is about understanding your body's specific needs and giving it exactly what it needs to function optimally. It's not about if it will work. It's about how quickly you'll see results. And so that's why I'm giving you guys this personal guarantee. If you complete this comprehensive health blueprint in this program and you follow the plan and you don't feel like you have a clearer understanding of your body and a personalized path forward, I'll refund your investment in full. Like I said, I don't deserve your money, your energy, your time, your effort if I'm not delivering the results that I promised to you. And that's how much I believe in what we do in this program. So I want to make that very clear. I would not back that up with my medical license and my integrity if I didn't believe otherwise. Okay. And just some quick things to kind of talk about. Guidance is going to be DIY every day of the week. So the small changes that we're going to experience in these signals are going to alter your energy, your hunger, your sleep, your mood. If you don't have expert guidance through those things, you can very easily miss those subtle but important changes. Implementation is honestly where most people struggle. We close that gap with testing, coaching, and fast feedback. So you're never left wondering if you're doing things right. We're talking about working smarter, not harder, okay? Then let's talk about the cost of waiting. That's 6 more months of continued guessing. It means more fatigue. It means more weight gain. It means lower mood. Every day you wait is another day of feeling frustrated in your body. There are hidden costs to not addressing this. Supplements that don't fit your physiology, piling medical bills from treating symptoms instead of root causes. Each week without a clear plan is another week of missed opportunities and feedback for adjustment. Okay. Now, something that I've honestly never offered before and that I'm going to offer to you guys today, and you don't have to take advantage, or you can just take advantage of this as well. And I'll be sure to drop the link for this to you guys in the chat, is if you really want a full complete picture, you can add genetic testing. Like, this is a complete picture. And like I said, I've never offered this before to the public. And this is literally just $259. So your labs tell us what's happening right now, right? Your genetics tell us why it's happening and how to optimize for the rest of your life. We'll analyze 75 plus generic variants that affect everything from how you process nutrients to how you respond to different types of exercise. This is normally a $399 test, but thanks to my partnership with the company today, you can add it today for just $259. So it's the missing piece that makes your protocol even more precise. So I do want to make sure that you guys know that that's available as well. And just as a little aside, and something that we're going to dive into here, is I do have someone from Nucleogenics actually here to talk to us about this. And so that way you guys can ask all of your questions as well. And that way we can kind of dive into things. And I see the questions popping in. I promise, I'm going to get to all of those. And I'm going to ask you, or I'm going to give you guys some more opportunities to make this. We're just going to see what happens. Okay. So I'm going to let you guys know, but let me see if I can get Quentin up here potentially. Now I know he's having some issues with getting in here, but let's see if we can, maybe if you can request to speak, Quentin, because I know you're having trouble coming in as a presenter. And if you guys have any questions, keep popping those in the chat. Let me know what you guys are thinking. And for those of you who are saying that there's no way that you could afford this, please just hold on, okay? Because we're gonna get there. Again, my team told me not to do this, but I see you guys. You desire it, you want it, right? So, and we want answers. So I would love to be able to give that to you. I'm gonna let. Oh, why is it not letting me? It looks like, okay, Beth left. Okay, now it'll let me. All right, I hit accept. Hopefully Quentin is coming in here. So he's going to give a brief overview about the DNA testing and like everything that you get with that. It is really quite extensive. I was actually surprised with the level of detail that this company gives you as well. And so that's why I felt like it was a great addition to what we do and really completing the full picture. I accepted your request, Quentin, but it doesn't look like you popped in here. Let me see. Can you try again? Oh, he got kicked out. All right, no worries. Let me see. I'm going to try to add him there. I sent him an invite. Okay. Yes. So let's go ahead and we'll come back to the genetic testing, y'all, whenever we get Quentin in here, because I do want you guys to get that information. But again, if you're ready to transform your health, finally feel like yourself again, ready to stop guessing, start getting results, ready to start working with your body instead of against it. If the answer is yes, and this is honestly your moment. So here's what I need you to do right now. If you're tired of guessing, if you're ready for answers, if you do want to finally understand your body and optimize it, I want you to click the link that's appearing on your screen right now. So don't wait, don't think about it, don't research it more. You've done enough research and it's really just time for answers. Your body is trying to tell you something and it's time to listen. And you know what? This is what I was saying earlier. I'm seeing some incredible responses in the chat, and I can tell many of you are ready to move forward with this, but I also know that $14.97 might feel like a stretch for some of you, especially if you've already spent thousands, let's say, on doctors, supplements, and programs that didn't work. And here's the thing. I normally don't offer payment plans. My private practice clients, they pay the full $4,900 up front, $5,000 plus. But tonight I'm making an exception because I do want this to be accessible to every woman who's ready to finally get answers. So I'm going to do something I rarely do. I'm going to offer you 3 ways to invest in your complete metabolic diagnostic blueprint. Okay. Option 1, we talked about $14.97. This is still the best value. You do save $97 compared to the payment plan, and you get immediate access to everything. Option 2, we're going to offer a 2-pay option. Okay. And as you can see, it is not on the slides. I did not come up with this ahead of time. Okay. It is going to be $7.97 today and $7.97 in 30 days. And I literally, just while we were waiting, texted my team to put that together. Okay. So this breaks it down into 2 manageable payments. Your first payment of $7.97 gets you started immediately with your lab kit. And then your second payment of $7.97 is automatically processed in 30 days. Now, I did say I would give you a third option. Okay. Financing. Literally, we partner with Affirm, Klarna, Afterpay, all of these people to offer flexible financing. You can spread this investment over 6, 12, even 18 months. It will literally bring it down to, I looked it up, and it's like $83 or less a month. So if you feel that that's something that you can afford to invest in your health, then we're going to, and give us a moment, because like I said, I just put all this together. We'll drop these links in the chat for you. That's less than what most people spend on coffee and takeout each month. So let me put this in perspective for you. I want to be completely honest and transparent with y'all. This payment plan option, again, I just put it together. It might not be available much longer. I'm only offering it tonight because I do want to help as many of y'all as possible. And I just kept seeing the messages in the chat. And if you're thinking that I'll come back to this later or I'll wait for the next webinar, there might not be a next webinar with these payment options. Like I said, I don't even know if I'm going to offer this program again. I might have set myself up for a level of work that I'm not quite prepared for quite yet, guys. But I am willing and committed to you and your health. And there definitely won't be this level, at least, of personal involvement for me at this price point again. So my team is already telling me I'm crazy for offering this much value at this price, let alone adding payment plans on top of it. But what I want you to really ask yourself is that, again, if you could finally understand what's really happening in your body, if you could stop guessing and start knowing, if you could have a clear roadmap to feeling like yourself again, what would that be worth to you? Is it worth $26 a day for 30 days? Is it worth $83 a month to finally get answers? I think you all know the answer. So whether you choose to pay in full and save $97, take advantage of the 2-pay option or use our financing, the important thing is that you choose to move forward tonight. I've been there. I don't want you to let another month, another year go by wondering what's wrong with you. Don't let another doctor tell you everything looks normal when you know it's not. Listen to that feeling in your gut and click the link below, choose the payment option that works best for you, and let's get you the answers you deserve. The lab kit, it gets shipped out, headed to your door within 24 hours, and we start this transformation journey together. And I do want to remind you, I'm only taking 25 women through this process. I do have to limit this, again, due to the personal time I have to invest, okay? So let me know if you have any questions about this payment plan option. It's only available tonight. After the webinar ends, it is going back to pay in full only. My team is like screaming at me. So yes, it has to go back to pay in full. But don't let this opportunity pass you by. Your future self will really thank you for making this decision tonight. So questions, I've got answers. I'm going to go ahead and just see if we can get Quentin back in here. Did he get back in here yet? Maybe not. Let me just check with him. Let's see. Okay. Said he requested. I don't see. Let me make sure that you guys are getting all of the links. Okay, perfect. All right. I am going to. So Quentin, if you're in here, I did send you a request to be a presenter as well. If you want to check your email there, that might be the easier way for you to get in here. Because I don't see a request again for you to speak. I'm going to go back through and start to answer some of these questions, y'all. And then I'm going to start to show you more than I tell you about what's included in here. All right. So let me make sure I'm going back from the beginning. Looking for the questions, and then I'll make my way through here, y'all. I want to make sure I answer everybody. Yeah. Estrogen lab. I suppose it's not. Okay. It is important. Estrogen lab is important, especially in your 80s. You're postmenopausal. Rheumatologist had to tell me about inflammation markers. Yep. 2 for real. Y'all are funny. All right, let's see. Sorry, there's lots of yeses to get through. Yes and no, I've learned on my own, but can't find a functional doctor. Well, now you have. Yes, why do more people do it? Lab work is the key. I agree. That's where we start. Absolutely, as long as you could afford it. I've given you guys lots of affordable options here today. I'm going to make sure that you guys have the link for the genetic testing too, because I think that one might have gotten overlooked. So let me grab that for you guys. It looks like. All right, here we go. I'm going to drop that in the chat too. All right, so I just completed gastro testing and was placed on sucrate. Is that sucrafate? Like Carafate? Candace, if you're still here, I'm just curious about that. Yeah, you almost overdosed on D3, K2, B12 trying to do it myself. You'd be surprised how many women, and they're on very cheap, low quality supplements, unfortunately. And that doesn't mean to say that supplements have to be expensive, but you just have to, that industry is so unregulated that you have to be very cautious of what you choose to put in your body because you don't know what you're putting in your body sometimes. But yeah, that's definitely something that's super important Let's see. Sorry, my screen went all the way back to the to the end. I was trying to go back. Okay, so all right, now I'm back where I want to be. I'm in my 70s. I want to be able to live healthier for the time I have left. Absolutely, Helen. I love that. You still got lots of amazing years left to live as long as we optimize your quality of life, right? It would be worth any cost, but unfortunately I'm on a limited income. I get it. And that's why I'm trying to throw out as many options as possible for you guys. I think you all know and understand that lab testing is expensive. That's a cost that I can't get rid of. All right. So that part is the hard part of all this. Ordered the Inflamma Pro today. I'm gonna have to look that one up. I'm not familiar with that one. And most GPs don't do all this blood work. That is absolutely correct. We have to pay to be healthy, having cash available. Yeah. And again, I do understand that to include all the lab tests, it does require me. And I literally push the price as low as I possibly can to be able to allow as many people to take advantage. Like I said, this usually for my private clients costs a lot more. So this is my goal, to create an affordable option for women to be able to take advantage of. In terms of insurance, no, we don't accept insurance, but we do accept HSA and FSA accounts. So if any of you guys have that, you will want to use the Stripe link that's in the chat. But that is something, and we can even give you a letter or whatever you need, itemized invoice for your reimbursement. So if you want to take advantage, use something that you put away, you can use that. Clicking and nothing's happening. Regina, were you able to get that fixed? Let us know if you still need our help there. I'd love for my team to reach out and help you. Sandra, I wish you could join us too. Just had labs done. Does your program accept insurance? I think I just answered that, but I'm also happy to take a look. If you've had a ton of labs done, most are not going to cover what we need them to cover, but I'm happy to remove, certain things but that's what we do when we customize programs for our one-on-one clients. So if that's something that you're interested in, we can reach out to you personally to book a call for that and kind of talk through that. Asani, I'm sorry to hear that. Cost of lab work and supplements. So the labs are included. I hope that was clear. The supplements are not included, but I do, and you can ask a lot of the clients that I work with. I do my best to make those as affordable as possible, but pure at the same time. Charisse, I believe I answered your question now. I'm sorry it took me a minute to get to you. Carrie, yeah, I want you to be able to do this as well. Maybe try to look into the financing option that would lower down your kind of monthly payment there. The genetic testing sounds good, but after 23andMe went belly up. Well, this would be great for, let's see. Beth, I have to kick you out to be able to let Quentin in. So if you can go out and come back in. Okay, so I hit accept again, and then it disappeared. I don't know why it does that. Technology, it's not working with us. Quentin, tried to use the presenter invite now that I sent you, now that Beth is no longer in here. But I know Quentin can talk about the way that they manage what happened with 23andMe was a whole lot of tech issues and security issues. And so he did talk to me a lot about how they protect their clients' information and how their clients' information is not linked to any of the places that they're sending their diagnostics and things to, so that you don't have to worry about that, because that's something that obviously those companies have learned from 23andMe. I'm sorry if I mess up your name. K Oakland? Did you find the link okay? Let us know if you need help. And since I am in Houston, is it possible to schedule an office appointment? So absolutely, I do most of my consults online too, so I'm happy to do that. I operate out of Club Movement. It is located in Rocheron. So if anybody wants to come in person, I do in-person consultations. They tend to be fairly rare at this point because I work with so many people everywhere. Yeah, Charisse. I'm sorry you're disappointed. I'm gonna reach out to you after this for sure. All right, Michelle, I'm glad it was informative. That's the goal, right? So I don't want you guys to ever feel like you didn't get anything out of this. Sucrade. I'm looking this up. Oh, saccharoside. It's a digestive enzyme. Got it. Okay. Would this help me even if I'm diagnosed with gastroparesis? Yes. So there are actually a lot of things we can do to optimize gastroparesis, Dana. So that is, it would be really complex for me to try to go down the rabbit hole of that. But yes, I will just briefly say yes. There's so many things I could get into with that. Sleep deprived, type 2 diabetes. I'm not sure if that was a question or just something that you're dealing with, Michelle. Sleep deprivation can definitely lead to inflammation and insulin resistance. So, Christy, at this time, I have had that question come up quite a few times. I don't currently offer professional mentorship. It's something I continue to think about, but right now I do not. But please reach out to me on the back end, and I love to just chat and just kind of see how I can help guide you in the right direction. Yeah, Quinn is answering some things in the chat. Sorry, I can't seem to get him up here, which is annoying technology. But the genetic testing is very different from 23andMe. It is HIPAA certified, so your information is protected. Yay, Alexandra joined us. I can't wait to start this journey. I can't wait to start with you too. Yes, we do have a website. Let me drop it in the chat. All right, that is our website. And does the genetic testing include comp testing? I'm going to let Quentin answer the genetic testing questions so I can get to everybody else as well. Thank you for all your work. There's 25 new patients that hit the health lotto. I hope you can train more doctors. This is just a tough financial time. Yes, your charges are definitely worth it. I do appreciate you saying that. I just need to have the funds. I wish everyone well. I hope to be able to do this in the future. Keisha, stay in touch. I would love for you to be able to join us in the future as well. It will test genes that affects your health, and then you can receive personalized nutrition to address those genetic variants. Yeah, so I was hoping you could get up here to show y'all. There's like 4 whole like playbooks you guys get with the genetic testing in terms of like what you can do in terms of your specific nutritional deficiencies, down to the micronutrients that you're deficient in, the dosage of the supplement that you actually need, and like what are your actionable things to fix your SNPs and your genetic mutations that you do have going on, or to optimize them to make sure that you don't have those issues. It's pretty darn awesome. So I wish I could get him up here to show you guys. I don't know why we're having such an issue. Let's see what else we have going on. Oh, and I forgot to mention, then they will actually compound a specific vitamin based on those dosages that they gave you that includes everything all in one and send it to you every month. How cool is that? Because you'll spend a lot like trying to put together all those different supplements sometimes. Like, just let me have it all in one. Shannon, yes. So autoimmune does affect your blood work for sure, but we know how to interpret within that context. And I totally get not wanting to make a decision that has to be made right at this moment. No worries, that's your decision to make. I always call it in my program informed consent. It is your choice to make. We're all grown adults, right? And then we just, we kind of deal with the consequences on the other end. And it doesn't mean that we can't still work together. I would still love to do that. Even if you want to take some time to think about it, and then we can talk about the options on the other side of the webinar special. So autoimmune does affect your blood work, but tons of autoimmune diseases have been linked to the gut, like so many. So that's the first thing I'll say. It doesn't mean they all are. Sometimes they are genetic as well. But there's a ton of things that we can do to reduce overall inflammation, which is usually what's fueling autoimmune processes. We've got so many women with early autoimmune dysfunction before they actually have a diagnosable autoimmune disease, and been able to reverse a lot of that and make sure that they don't progress down to having an autoimmune disease. So definitely feel confident in being able to manage that. Donna, I can't wait to see results for you too. Do you coach on how to use CGM to assist with monitoring blood glucose levels? Yeah, absolutely. So Judy, who we talked about, who reversed her insulin resistance, she wears a CGM. So we love it. It gives you more awareness. It's easier for you to understand how food affects your body. And so that's awesome. We'd love to be able to help you with that. Christy, what's your preferred method of contact? So I'll give you guys the email for support. And then the phone number is on the screen, but I'll put it in the chat as well. If anyone has any specific questions and you feel like not getting to them, or you want to answer quicker, you can text this number. We are continuing to monitor it on the back end. All right, awesome. Is there a link for people that want to use HSA? Yes, Brandy, it is the Stripe link. Let me go back and find it for you, and I will drop it in here. It's a link that she said was for financing. It's the same link. Awesome, Michelle. I'd love to get on a call with you, and let's kind of talk through the options for sure. We can make that happen. And oh, by the way, I do owe all of y'all who stayed till the end your freebies. So I'm going to drop those in a second. I just want to make sure I don't lose track of where I'm at with the questions when I do that. Is there a way to share this with a friend? What do you mean, Michelle, by sharing it with a friend? I'd love to understand. You want to do it with a friend? You can absolutely share the link, even if they're not here and they want to do it. That's for that. Of course, the more the merrier, and have an accountability partner, someone on the journey with you, is an awesome thing. All right, awesome, Venetia. Yes, I totally get it, and that's why I wanted to give people as many options as possible. Quentin said we don't test COMT, COMT. We do test similar genes, so methylation, MTHFR, you'll know about, vitamin D effects, neurotransmitters, IL-6, which is an inflammatory response marker. TNF alpha is also an inflammatory response marker. It affects your mood and your stress as well. I would like to know if it would work for me due to my medical auto. I'm not sure what you mean by that, Michelle, if you can clarify. Can you speak on food sensitivities and how they manifest? I've been having hives and urticaria, and I don't understand why. Yes, so this is one that I love to talk about, actually. So honestly, there's a ton of people. This is usually linked to your gut, of course. So food sensitivities can come from anywhere from your mouth all the way to your gut. So from things like, people have what we call lack of oral tolerance when they're not making enough saliva. So saliva creates this thing called IgA, secretory IgA. It coats your food and makes sure that it's covered with like your DNA so that your body doesn't recognize it as foreign and then attack it. Okay, so one thing we always want to check, are you making enough saliva? Do you have enough secretory IgA in your mouth or in your gut? You make it in both places. The other thing is that there are tons of things that can cause your eosinophils to be driven up that don't get talked about a lot. Anything from leaky gut to parasites to mold. We've seen all three. And so those can be a lot of really hidden drivers. But parasites and mold can also cause leaky gut and then cause a lot of these issues. And so usually when we see later in life that people are developing food sensitivities that they didn't have before, that is usually coming from some other hidden source. And so we can tell those things, and a lot of people can't on blood work, just because of the way that we've been taught to learn and look at blood work in terms of the training that I've done. So I don't necessarily need a GI map or a gut zoomer or a Dutch to be able to tell what's going on with your gut or your hormones necessarily. We can get a ton of information a lot of times without that, because we know how to look at blood work in that specific way. So hopefully that kind of helps lead you. I don't have your full panel to look at to really understand what might be going on, but I would say to definitely look at your eosinophils, because you probably are having some kind of histamine response, and that's on your complete blood count. And then the other thing would be, are you having any other digestive symptoms? Are you having bloating? Are you having constipation? Are you having diarrhea? Are you having, I hate to say this, itchy anus? That's another one. But yeah, so those are kind of some things to look out for. Sorry, y'all, I still haven't made it to the Q&A one, but I am going to get over there. Just trying to make my way through the main chat. Are you close to Houston? Yes, like 20 minutes from the center of the city. So absolutely, Sherry. You're welcome, Brandy. And then Quentin's dropping some more knowledge in the chat. Share this site with a friend. Absolutely, Michelle. Yeah, please share. Kim, you're asking about EBV? Oh, are you asking about that for genetic testing? Should we stop taking supplements before testing? Yes. So we will give you all of those guidelines. We actually have specific guidelines that we want you to do and to stop taking the supplements. Usually it's at least 3 days before you take the labs. We also don't want you to work out for 3 days. We don't want you to intensively sweat because all those things can alter your labs. We also want you to make sure you drink enough water and that you're adequately hydrated because dehydration can skew your results. So those are some things we give you the guidelines for as well. What about PCOS? Absolutely. We have tons of women with PCOS in our program, all the way from people who desired fertility that we've been able to allow them to be able to get pregnant. And we have also been able to reverse a lot of those androgenic signs, chin hair, facial acne, the issues with resistance to weight loss. It's just all about that targeted approach. So absolutely, Arlisha, that's something that we can manage. Alexandra, should we receive an email right away when we sign up? You should get a confirmation. If you don't, the email is in the chat to reach out to us, but we are going to reach out to everyone as well. You should hear from us absolutely by tomorrow with your welcome email, with your next steps and everything laid out for you. Myasthenia gravis. Yes, Kim. So that is something that, again, another process that's driven by a lot of different things. And again, could go down the rabbit hole on that one, but there's a ton of things we can do to really optimize that process. So and to make sure that you don't have a ton of flares, because that's the goal, right? With myasthenia gravis is to make sure that things don't worsen. Okay. Is stool testing or GI map a part of the advanced testing? So no, this is all blood work that we're doing here. We do absolutely, for some people, add that on. And so we're happy to do that. If that's something that you want to do, we allow you to just pay for it at cost. Like I'm not going to charge you extra for that. I'd love to have the additional information. But like I said, from the blood work alone, I can tell 95 to 99% of what we need to do for almost everybody. Oh, Arlisha, you said I joined, but I think my credit card info is wrong. Well, that's okay. We'll reach out to you. Beth, if you can note that down, and then we'll see what we can do there. One more thing, y'all. And my team's going to kill me. But we do have one more financing option. So the thing with like Affirm, Klarna, and those people, if your credit score is not above 650, they won't approve you, right? But we do have one more option that will approve some lower credit scores. So if that is you, I'm going to grab that link for you guys. Or actually, Beth, can you grab the FlexBuy link? And then we can have people do that. Brandy, yay, welcome. Super excited for you. How soon do we receive our kit for testing? So we will be putting on in all of those orders tomorrow, and then they will be shipped to you. It usually takes 2 to 4 business days to arrive. We do not do mineral tests on hair. HTMA testing, it's great. It can be great. It's not as accurate. Just that's the kind of the short spiel of it. So I don't love it. When you test the right markers and you know how to look at them, you don't need things like HTMA or the hair tissue mineral analysis. That's what that is. So we don't do that. It just seems like it's an additional cost when we already have all the information that we need, just to be clear there. How many thyroid tests do we do? So TSH, T4, T3, reverse T3, TPO, thyroglobulin antibodies. I feel like I'm forgetting one. I think it's 6. After your DNA test, yep, you'll get personalized supplements based on all of your results, down to the exact microdose you need. So no guesswork. There's over 400 million different possible combinations, so you won't have the same supplement as anybody else. Awesome. Okay, let me go through these Q&A questions. Do salads cause leaky gut? So that's kind of a very general question. Yes, if you have certain parasites on your salads, because some of those foods can be like in the dirty dozen or have be affected with pesticides, things like that. Yes, then that can affect your gut lining. Why, if taking probiotics, still having an issue with weight inflammation? Oh, I love this question, because probiotics should actually be prescribed, is what I say. They have to be targeted. If you have gut dysbiosis or small intestinal bacterial overgrowth, then you are going to have a significant issue with giving yourself more of the wrong probiotic, basically the wrong bacteria. You can actually make the situation worse if you're not utilizing the right type of probiotic. So those should be very targeted. And I hate when people always say, like, just throw a probiotic at everything. So that is probably a big reason why, if you're still having that. Now, there's also, it could just be that that's not your root cause issue as well. And so that's something that we'd have to evaluate for your specific situation. What about water quality? Water quality is super important. So filtered water, of course, but we're minimizing our exposures to things in the environment that can disrupt our gut microbiome, which are things that we've talked about, right? Is it a gut issue if your temples or forehead are tense as though you can't relax your face? So that can come from many different areas. So that's kind of a vague symptom. I'd want to see what other symptoms that you're experiencing along with your labs to really correlate and map everything together, because like mold can cause that. Different nutrient deficiencies can cause that as well. So those are things that are important to think about. What testing do you run? We talked about that. We talked about insurance. How do you know if your health insurance will cover comprehensive testing? I would have that discussion with your provider, and they should be able to give you that information. When and where are the labs drawn? So we send the kids to your house, and then they have a phlebotomy map that you put your location in, and then you can just see where your closest phlebotomist is. They even have mobile phlebotomists that will come to your house and do it for a small fee. But you can take it to your closest phlebotomy location, and they will draw the labs for you. How does it happen virtually? Where are you located? I am outside of Houston, Texas, in a suburb of Houston, basically. And I think I've covered that. If you have any more questions about that, Lucy, just let me know. We've covered those. We talked about payment plans. We've talked about flexible spending plans. How long after you pay do you receive your plan and info to get started? So it depends on how quickly you get your labs done, how quickly we get those back. And then once we get your labs back, it is within a week that we have your protocol developed. Usually, again, it's a lot of time intensive effort on my end. So I want to make sure that I am dedicating enough time to everybody. So I say a week, and then we are going to deliver your full plan and protocol to you, and we'll have your call. What if a doctor doesn't want to order functional labs in the future? A lot of doctors won't want to order functional labs, unfortunately. And it's mainly because if something comes back abnormal and they don't know how to interpret it, they don't want to have that liability, quite honestly. And also, a lot of times insurance won't cover those, so they're not going to order them. Can you become my PCP? Well, I'm not a primary care doctor right now, but if I do become one, I'll let you know, Dion. What if we've already had some of the labs done that you would do? I think I covered that earlier. It would be best for us to kind of hop on a call to discuss that further, Amy, because every individual situation is a little different in that regard. And we also want to make sure that when you had them done, there wasn't anything else that would have skewed your results that is not going to make the labs as, let's say, as accurate. That's the word I was looking for. We've talked about insurance, HSA and FSA. We do still take those guys. How do you get the blower? We talked about that. We talked about food sensitivities on a budget, but otherwise love to do this. Okay. And then Candace, we talked about splitting the $1,500 cost. What is the average additional cost of supplements? So Ooh, that's a tough question. I mean, it can go from, less than $50 up to a little under 200 if we're having to do like full on gut repair. Okay. So it really just depends on what we're dealing with. And like I said, I try to be as cost efficient as humanly possible because I know you've already made a large investment. And do you need a specific brand of supplements? So I'm going to tell you, and I will send you the ones that I recommend specifically and how to take them. But it's not anything that I'm tied to, by the way. Nothing. I don't have my own brand of supplements or anything like that. I just want to make sure you guys get ones that are well tested and are going to do what they're supposed to do. And then we talked about the lab work is included. We talked about paying in installments. I need this, been to 4 doctors and everyone says I'm fine. Yeah. Common every call that I'm on pretty much. Can we get a coupon code if paying in full? So you would just use the paid in full link, Renetta, the $14.97 payment option there. I'm clicking here, not sending me to the next page. Helen, let us know if you didn't get that covered. Not able to access the page with the credit option. Yeah, let us know if you didn't get that covered. Dr. Gupta on YouTube sells InflamaPro. Okay, I'm going to have to look into that. I don't know about that. Hassani, if you're still here, let me know. Can't afford the installment payments until next week. Reach out to my team. Just reach out to my team. That's all I'm going to say. Reach out to us. Let us get your information. Click here button, not sending you to the credit option. So if you guys are opening that Stripe link and it says like pay with link and it's like green and stuff, make sure you go to the bottom and click pay without link. And then your payment method options should pop up that include Affirm, Klarna, Afterpay, those other options, Cash App, whatever those things are called. All of those things should pop up. If you're not seeing those as a payment method option, make sure you scroll to the bottom and click pay without link because you probably just had link set up at some point. Let's see. We got less than 5 minutes left before it's going to kick us out, y'all. So ask all your questions. I'm trying to answer quickly. Where do we go for blood testing? I may have missed this question. Oh, again, you can, when you get sent everything, you have a phlebotomy map. You can look up, you can go to your closest phlebotomy center. You can even have a mobile phlebotomist come to you as well. I had a problem with my credit card too. Hopefully the second entry went through. Okay. Yay, Renetta. Welcome. Does eating for your blood type have any merit? To a certain degree. I would say more like Quentin was talking about, eating according to your genes. Better. Yeah. Eating according to your labs and your genes, even better. Okay. Beth answered, do we automatically receive bonuses or will I need to? Oh, shoot. I did forget that, y'all. I'm so sorry. Okay. Let me drop your bonuses so that you guys can grab those. And I would appreciate it, and I meant to drop this way earlier because I would love all of you guys' feedback. I'm dropping it in the chat and the Q&A. If you guys, there's a super short 3-question survey. I just want to know what you guys want to hear about in the future, and also just what you thought of tonight. And it's a quick little multiple choice, and then it will direct you directly to the Google Drive PDF where you can click and access all of your bonuses. So be sure to take advantage of that before the time is up. Got about 3 minutes left for you guys to take advantage before everything ends. Was everyone able to access the payment option? Don't forget, we do have this phone number here. Take note of it. If you're having issues right now and we get kicked off, we will still work with you, okay, to make sure that you get taken care of this evening. All right. All right. I think that covered everything in the Q&A. Let me go back through. Did we drop the flex buy option yet? Let me drop that. So this is the one for lower credit scores, y'all. So it will give you the money first, and then you will need to reach out to us or use one of these links to pay. And because you have the link, we'll know that you were here this evening, and that will still let you take advantage. But that's the way that this one works as opposed to Affirm or Klarna. So if you do have something go through with that, just let us know. Again, take note of the phone number. Here we go. There is that other payment plan option for you guys to take a look at. All right, Helen, we're going to help you afterwards. We'll make sure you get what you need. Did everyone get all of the links they need? Because we have a minute and a half remaining. Is there anything else that I can answer for you guys in this last minute and a half? Is there anything else that I need to be able to help you guys with? And again, take note of the phone number. I'll drop it in here again, and take note of the email. We're going to stay on for a little bit here to make sure you guys get all the support you need to pull all this to the finish line. If you have any questions about this FlexBuy link, let me know. The amount that you're going to put in there is obviously for the $14.97, and it will give you your payment plan options, and you can choose which one you want. Continue to submit the application, and it does take usually about a day or two for you to get the money, and then again you'll reach out to us. So make sure again you take notes there. You guys get the bonuses by using the link I put up top.